Welcome to the top 10 most pulled comic books for July 10th, 2024. Guys, I'm Mike Spider Slayer. Welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. If you love daily comic book content, if you love me helping you make decisions on what comic books to buy, you came to the right place. Guys, this is a video where I get data on comic books that are getting pulled. Remember, this is not definitive sales. This is just stuff that people are excited for, and you have the ability on this website, leagueofcomicgeeks.com, to create a pull list each week, and I'm here to tell you what people are most excited about. Before we get started, if you guys want to become a YouTube member of my channel, as low as 99 cents, gets you access to early videos. It also gives you badges so you can scream out to the others how long you've been a member of the channel for. You also get stickers on comments as well. So help support the channel today. It's always much appreciated, but of course I always love you guys even if you don't. So with that being said, let's get started with this week's episode. All right, we gotta get this bad boy done because it is hot in this garage. The heat index here today in Florida, at least where I'm at, is 107. This garage is cooking. I have a fan, but it ain't doing anything, man. I had someone mention get a portable AC unit for the garage. That's a good idea. I'm gonna have to look into that. So we always start off this countdown with the outside looking in. And the first book we're talking about is Ice Cream Man issue 40. This book, I think last issue was actually pretty good. It was called Decompression in a Wreck, and this is part 2 of that particular story. So it looks like we're going to see the second part of this one that needs to be read as they decompress and a car accident that happens and everything that is going through these people's mind. The last issue was absolutely wild. The pull list on this one is 2,214. The writer here is Maxwell Prince, and the art is done by Martin Morazzo. Definitely a solid story. You should check this one out. This was actually the first issue of Ice Cream Man that I read in quite some time, and I'm happy I did. The next book that's on the outside looking in is Symbiote Spider-Man 2099 issue 5. I think this is the conclusion to this series. This one is 28 pages for the price of $4. This one does have 2,219 pulls, and the writer here is Peter David, and the art is done by Roge Antonio. I read the first couple issues of this. It was okay, but it wasn't nothing that was like outstanding for me. I think if you really enjoy the 2099 run, it did continue from that run, and this is something that you're going to want to read. A lot of people told me they love this, and that's okay. It just kind of wasn't really my cup of tea. I actually really like Peter David's writing. The Spider-Man 2099 series that I read was quite a while ago now. I want to say maybe 10 years ago, where it was an ongoing of Spider-Man 2099, and it was awesome. I really enjoyed it, and I love a lot of his other stuff as well. I love the Maestro stuff, so he does write some great stuff, and just Spider-Man 2099 for some reason right now is just not my thing. Hulk Blood Hunt. This is issue 1. This is a 36-page comic for the price of $5. This book has 2,254 pulls on it. It's written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, and the art is done by Danny Earls. So if you were expecting the Nick Klein artwork, you're not going to get it in this event tie-in. Now, if you've been reading The Incredible Hulk, this might be something you might be interested in. This looks like they're going to have to stop in a town in the Old West of Old Tuscan and maybe come across some cowboy vampires. If that's something that tickles your fancy, you might want to check it out. Again, just don't expect that beautiful Nick Klein artwork. Book number 4 that's on the outside looking in is Spider-Boy. This is issue 9. This is a 28-page comic for the price of $5. This book does have 2,407 pulls. It's written by Dan Slott, and the art here is done by Nathan Stockman. Not the normal artist on this particular issue, so I wonder if this is a filler. And this has to do with Bailey Briggs stuck in the web of life. So is this a story that took place in the past and him dealing with himself being trapped and things like that? Or is this a new story, like a present story with him being stuck in the Spider-Verse? I'm not sure here. Hopefully this is a story in the past, so we got to see what Bailey Briggs went through, because I do not want to deal with the Spider-Verse again. We've just gotten way too much of that, and I feel like this book is getting a very good footing on itself at making Bailey his own character and having some of his own villains introduced here. So let's hope it doesn't take a step back. Our last book that's on the outside looking in is Wolverine Blood Hunt. This is issue 3. This book is 28 pages for the price of $4. This book has 2,436 pulls. Again, it's another Blood Hunt tie-in, but this has been a pretty fun book to read as we have Wolverine and Night Guard teaming up together to make it to the vampire base as they're going against Maverick, which I think is pretty awesome. And this is one of those books where, again, just don't take too seriously. Have fun with Wolverine just kicking some vampire ass. That's basically what this book is, and it's got some solid artwork here by Juan Jose Reap. Just really good stuff. And the writer here is Tom Walsh, so you kind of can't go wrong with it. So if you love vampires, you love Wolverine, and you love Wolverine fighting vampires, continue to read this book. Officially starting the countdown now at number 10, we have Geiger, issue 4. This is a $4 comic book, and it has 3,117 pulls. This is published by Image Comics. Imprint is Ghost Machine, written by Jeff Johns, and the art is done by Gary Frank. Can't go wrong with that artwork in here. I love the Geiger character. Right now, he's teaming up with Nate the Nuclear Knight as they're trying to find a possible cure for Tyreek, who is Geiger. And we have this character going after him. I think his name is the Electrician, that can also stop Geiger and has these crazy powers, right? This book is great. It has heart, it has action, it has a lot of potential on top of it. And right now, you also have these people called the Organ People that are going after Tyreek and Nate as well. It's just an awesome book. I love reading it ever since the first original volume of Geiger came out, so I can't wait to see the continuation of this story. Grabbing the number 9 spot, I feel like this book has been dropping, and I said I was going to drop this on books I was dropping, and this is Batman and Robin issue 11, but it finally starts a new story arc. So do I give it a try? Do I give it another try? Let me know in the comments below. It's 32 pages for the price of $5. It jumps, guys. The pull list on this one is 4,876, written by Joshua Williamson, and the art is done by Juan Ferreira. So Batman and Robin on Dinosaur Island. That seems pretty cool. And there's a particular secret that the dynamic duo actually uncover. What is that secret? Not really sure. Sounds kind of interesting. I don't know, man. Maybe I should keep going until Joshua Williamson leaves the book, or maybe we get the new creative team, which might not be my favorite. So, again, maybe I need help from the webheads out here. Should I or shouldn't I? Holding on to that ace spot, we have Daredevil issue 11. Legacy numbering 673. It's a 28-page comic for the price of $5. We have 5,012 pulls for this comic book. It's written by Saladin Ahmed, and the art is done by Aaron Cooter. This book continues to be on people's pull list, but I want to know how many of you guys are actually still reading this book. It looks like we got Matt Murdock and Elektra in here on their last legs. Everything that they fought for. What's going to happen? Get ready for the end of this story arc. So if you guys been enjoying it, again, I want to know in the comments below. I'm just not a huge fan of what Saladin Ahmed was doing with Daredevil. It just didn't live up to the same type of storytelling like Chip Zdarsky's, right? I think Saladin Ahmed had like big shoes to fill here. Capturing the 7th spot, it goes to the Green Lantern. This is issue 13. 40 pages for the price of $5. This book has 5,219 pulls, written by the great Jeremy Adams, and the art is done by Fernando Pasarin. Now, this book is an absolute tie-in, and listen, when it comes to this book overall, it's been phenomenal, and I want to see what Jeremy Adams can do tying in to this absolute power event, right? He's a great writer. I think he's done phenomenal things with Green Lantern here, and I just hope that this event kind of doesn't ruin his momentum. But I think if there's somebody that can write a solid tie-in, it's going to be this guy. I love the last issue as we got to see Hal Jordan connect with one of his former flames finally after all this time. I'm just so excited about this series in particular. Each and every issue, it's a treat. Right outside that top 5, we have the Avengers. This is issue 16. We got legacy numbering 782. It's a 28-page comic for the price of $4. This book has 5,415 pulls, written by Jed McKay, and the art is done by Carlos Fabian Villa. The artwork has been absolutely phenomenal. This book has been fun as we've gotten to see a ragtag group of Avengers like Kate Bishop, Hazmat, Hercules, Quicksilver do battle against Baron Blood on a helicarrier with other vampires. It's been great. Some would argue to say that there's nothing wrong with these Avengers. I agree. I like Hawkeye and I like Hazmat. I think they're kind of cool characters, right? Somebody that you don't always see. This has been a nice surprise for a tie-in, so I would definitely recommend the Avengers tie-in when it comes to Blood Hunt. Here we go, cracking the top 5, guys, and this is the first time this book has been on the League of Comic Geeks, and this is X-Men. This is issue 1. Legacy numbering 301, 36 pages for the price of $6. I think possibly people are waiting to put this on their pull list permanently to find out what this first issue has to offer. So it debuts at number 5. And this book has 5,707 pulls, also written by Jed McKay. The art here is done by legendary Ryan Stegman. We got our cast of characters: Cyclops, Beast, Magneto, Psylocke, Kid Omega, Temper, Magic, and Juggernaut on the roster. So listen, I am super excited for new X-Men comics. Get away from the Krakoa stuff a little bit. Let's see what this team has to offer for its readers. I want every X-Men book to be great, so people have something to talk about here. Let's cross our fingers that it actually is. Coming in at number 4 goes to the Ultimates issue 2. You guys seem to like the first one enough that it hits that number 4 spot. This book has 28 pages for the price of $5. This book does have 6,619 pulls. Your writer here is Denise Camp, and the art is done by Juan Frigeri. Listen, when it came to this book, a little of the beginning from the first issue was kind of slow with going on with, I think, Reed and Iron Lad talking about the mumbo jumbo, what we need to get the superheroes here, and it kind of failed. But the cool thing is you wind up getting Giant Man, Hank Pym, and you wind up getting to see Janet Van Dyne, which is Wasp. And there are the 2 newest superheroes to join the Ultimates team. And I thought that was cool and made the book a little bit more grounded. And now it looks like we got our roster here. So let's see how the Ultimates continue to develop in the overall grand scheme of things in the Ultimate Universe. I think this is the highest this book has gotten to on the most pulled comic book list so far. And coming in at number 3 goes to Transformers issue 10. It's going to be soon where this one gets to number 1. I'm telling you, we got 28 pages for the price of $4. The pull list here is 6,884, written by Daniel Warren Johnson. The art is done by Jorge Corona. And in this book, it looks like we're going to get Shockwave's plan revealed. If you've read the most recent issue of Transformers, we've gotten to see the space bridge come alive where the Decepticons can transport Decepticons from Cybertron to Earth. And we got to see a whole bunch of new Decepticons make their appearance in the Energon universe in the last issue. And something obviously went very wrong for Cliffjumper and I think Mirage as well. What happens to those guys? I don't know. Stellar series. This is something that everyone should be reading. This is my favorite series on the shelves today besides Rook Exodus. This is a next level comic book and I don't know who else is reading it. So let's put it on your pull list so it can get number 1 next time. Grabbing the number 2 spot and missing the number 1 spot goes to Action Comics issue 1067. I think this series has a lot of momentum based off of the House of Brainiac. But now that that's over, can this book continue the momentum based off of what happens of this first new story arc written by Gail Simone? That's right, guys. Gail Simone is on this book, and it's done by Eddie Burrows is the artwork. This one has 8,385 pulls. It's 40 pages for the price of $5. And what's going on is that this is a 3-part story, and it looks like an alien race is going to be invading the Earth. It looks like Superman is going to have to face the alien race alone, and he's going up against impossible odds. So we'll see how it turns out. Let's see if next time it holds on to the number 2 spot. But listen, Action Comics this year has been absolutely phenomenal. So I'm going to be optimistic about this one. And grabbing the number 1 spot for the week of July 10th, 2024 goes to The Amazing Spider-Man issue 53. Legacy numbering 947. 28 pages for the $5 price point. This book has 9,561 pulls. Not even next level, guys. I consider next level going like in the 10,000s or at least 12,000s. So it didn't even break 10,000. I think people are getting at their wits' end when it comes to The Amazing Spider-Man, and I totally understand it. This one is written by Zeb Wells, and the art is done by Todd Nuck. Now, the story is not the worst story I have seen from Zeb Wells when it comes to this story. You got the Sinister Six in there. We got Peter as a Green Goblin, right? There are some goofy things with Chasm, like curing Peter with his plasma stuff for a little while, and he magically gets his red and blue suit back, and you know, you got Wreck Rap and Miss Marvel teaming up, right? But it's better than some of this stuff that we've gotten in the past, right? So, I don't know, man. But I think people are excited that this run is getting ready to come to a conclusion soon. And we're going to get Joe Kelly for a little while. And then after that, we'll see what happens. But I think we'll probably get Joe Kelly probably until issue 1000, if you want my honest opinion. And once issue 1000 comes around, we're going to get a true creative team going forward. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on The Amazing Spider-Man. So there you have it, webheads. There are the most pulled comic books of the week based off of LeagueOfComicGeeks.com. If there's not anything that's on this list, let me know what you're most excited for this comic book week. And if you guys love the content, I'm always going to leave you content right here. Check out this topic video that I did about us comic fans being too much of whiny babies, right? And then if you want to check out the other one, which is after the pull with me talking about this week's current comic books, click that one. So until next time, guys, remember, support the local comic shops, keep buying, keep collecting, but always read your comics so we can have great comic conversation. And I'm going to get out of this heat, and I'll see you guys on New Comic Book Day.